Good morning students. Today we'll proceed with the other evaluation test of emulsions. So in the previous class we have discussed what are the various evaluation tests for emulsions, and they include measurement of your physical parameters, chemical parameters and your stress conditions. So in physical parameters we have already seen about phase separation and the viscosity, and the remaining physical properties includes your electrophoretic properties of zeta potential and your particle size number analysis. So these are your other two physical parameters. And in chemical parameters we have already seen about the pH measurement and about the you have to assess how stable each ingredient is, each component of emulsion in respect to its formulation, right? Then we have to discuss about the stress conditions, in which we have to discuss about aging and temperature, centrifugation and agitation. So once we discuss about aging and temperature, centrifugation and agitation, then I will discuss at last about what are the practical recommendations for your shelf life predictions, and then with that we'll finish the emulsions unit, emulsion topic. Coming to your electrophoretic properties. So zeta potential of emulsions, electrophoretic properties is zeta potential. So why is zeta potential important? You know that because zeta potential influences flocculation. So zeta potential of emulsions, it can be measured with the aid of moving boundary method. Okay, that is one method in which you can measure the zeta potential of emulsion. Zeta potential of emulsions, it can be measured with the aid of moving boundary method or by observing the movement of particles under the influence of electric current. So when you apply electric current, how the particles are moving, by observing that movement of particles, zeta potential can be measured. So the measurement of electrical conductivity, we know that zeta potential, why it is useful? Zeta potential is useful for assessing the flocculation, since electrical charges on particles influence the rate of flocculation. So flocculation, if flocculation is more, then rate of settling will be more, right? So the flocculation is affected by a zeta potential. That is why measurement of zeta potential is important. And if the instability is due to coalescence, the determination of surface charges of particles, it may not be relevant for the prediction of shelf life. That means if the instability is due to coalescence, if the instability of emulsion is due to coalescence of particles, then the determination of surface charges may not be relevant for the prediction of shelf life. Why we are doing all this measurement? In order to predict the shelf life or the stability of emulsion. So if the stability is due to coalescence, then the surface charge does not play any role. The measurement of electrical conductivity has been claimed to be a powerful tool for the evaluation of emulsion stability shortly after preparation. That means as soon as the formulation of emulsion has been done, you should measure the electrical conductivity of emulsion. The electrical conductivity of O by W or W by O emulsion, the electrical conductivity of O by W or W by O emulsion is determined with the aid of platinum electrodes. Okay, so here you are using platinum electrodes to determine the electrical conductivity. The electrical conductivity of O by W or W by O is determined with the aid of platinum electrodes, whose specifications are like diameter 0.4 mm and distance between those two electrodes will be 4 mm, to produce a current of about 15 to 20 microamperes. So these are the specifications with which you will determine the conductivity of an emulsion with the aid of platinum electrodes to produce a current of 15 to 50 microamperes. Measurements are made on emulsion stored for short periods of time at room temperature 37 degrees centigrade. So I have told you, as soon as the formulation is done, after some period of time you will do the measurement, and that will be done that either at room temperature or at 37 degrees centigrade. And whatever conductivity you are measuring, the electrical conductivity, it also depends on the degree of dispersion. That means how finely the particles are dispersed in the emulsion, that will affect your conductivity, because fine particles and coarse particles differ in the way they conduct electricity. So the conductivity, it depends on the degree of dispersion. O by W preparations with fine particles exhibit low resistance. So I have told you, fine particles and coarse particles exhibit different conductivity. So if you are having O by W preparations in which you are having fine particles, they exhibit low resistance. But if resistance increases, it is a sign of oil droplet aggregation and instability. Okay, so exhibit low resistance means they can conduct electricity. So they are exhibiting very less resistance with fine particles. Whereas If your resistance is increasing, that means it is a chance that your particles are aggregating. So it is a sign of your instability of emulsion. Okay, a fine emulsion of water in O by W product. So in W by O, what is your internal phase? Water is an internal phase, oil is an external phase, right? Sorry, oil is an internal phase, water is an external phase. So this oil will be more, water will be very less. These are the water droplets in oil medium. So this will not conduct current. Why? Because oil is a poor conductor of electricity. Only water will conduct electricity, right? A fine emulsion of water in W by O product does not conduct current until droplet coagulation, that is instability, occurs. So this is the sign how you assess the instability, because instability, droplet coagulation means droplets are there of water. So if droplet coagulation is occurring, that means what? Water droplets are joining to form a more continuous phase. So in that case, the emulsion is unstable, and in that case a water phase is becoming more because that is coagulating those droplets. So in that way only it can conduct current. So you can determine this. It is a very easy way of checking the stability in O by W preparations or W by O preparations. If you are having W by O preparation, it will not conduct current because in that oil is an internal phase. But if droplet coagulation occurs, that means water droplets combine together, then in that case they can conduct current. So that is a sign of instability, right? So this is with your electrophoretic properties. Coming to your particle size number analysis. So in particle size number analysis is nothing but the changes of the average particle size or of the size distribution of droplets are important parameters for evaluating emulsions. And this particle size number analysis, it can be carried out by number of methods, and each will have the different average. Each method will give you different average of particle size. So there are various methods I've told you, like microscopic measurements of apparent diameter. The first method is a microscopic measurement. You will just take your emulsion, observe it under microscope, and you will note down the diameter of particles. That is one method. Another, you have electronic counting devices which will measure a particle volume. Electronic counter devices such as a counter. Okay, counter method. Example for an electronic counting machine is a counter method. COULTER counter method. Electronic counting devices which measure particle volume. Then the other method is light scattering and related reflectance relationship. So there are the various methods for measuring particle size. So excuse me. So in electronic counting devices, I told you they measure the particle volume. And since the volume of a sphere is pi d cube by 6, the volume of a sphere is pi d cube by 6, where d is the diameter. They give a greater weight to larger particles when volume is converted to diameter. So by different methods, you will get a different result. And I have told you counter method. Counter method, in that also your emulsion should be diluted, sometimes with your electrolyte. Okay, in counter method, you should use a dilute emulsion. Okay, then you have light scattering and related reflectance relationship. So in that, how you do is light scattering and related reflectance relationship. In this, the change of the reflectance. Okay, so at particular wavelength, your internal phase will absorb that incident light. So that then what is the change of reflectance we are measuring, and that is inversely proportional to the power of particle diameter. I repeat, the change of reflectance at the wavelength at which your colored internal phase partially absorbs the incident light. So there is a wavelength at which your colored internal phase, it will absorb the incident light. So that change in reflectance, because at that when it is absorbing, it will change in color. It will exhibit a change in color. So that change of reflectance, it is inversely proportional to the power of particle diameter. So in this way you will determine the particle size analysis is done by various methods. And the utility of particle size for predicting or evaluating emulsion shelf life is doubtful. because in some cases you can have initial increase in particle size but followed by a little increase. So that is why the utility of particle size is very doubtful in evaluating the emulsion stability. But one thing you can expect, or one thing which you can suggest for evaluating emulsion, is the particle size and the number of particles and the droplet surface area or the droplet volume should vary linearly with time. So this I have told you that this method, the estimating of particle size is doubtful in evaluating the stability, because in some cases the particle size increases rapidly and then it decreases. So one suggestion, or one can expect that the particle size, okay, either the particle size or the number of particles, the particle size, the number of particles, or the droplet surface area or the droplet volume, they should, all this should vary linearly with time. They all should vary linearly with time. So this is the expectation which you can have for the evaluation of emulsion step. That means that point should be kept in mind. Okay, this is with the particle size number analysis. Coming to your stress conditions. So in stress conditions, I have told you we have to discuss about your agitation, aging and temperature, centrifugation and agitation. So in today's class we will discuss about aging and temperature. In the next class we will discuss about centrifugation and agitation, and then what are the practical recommendations for your shelf life prediction. With that, the emulsion topic will be done. Okay, so stress conditions normally employed for evaluating the stability of emulsions include these three. Coming to aging and temperature, it is a routine to determine the shelf life of preparations. Okay, why aging, and what do you mean by aging and temperature? Okay, it is nothing but you are determining the shelf life by storing them at different temperatures. Okay, and you are storing them for varying periods of time. So you are storing them for varying periods of time, and at temperatures, you are storing with varying periods of time at temperatures that are temperatures that are higher than those normally stored. So temperatures which are normally higher. So at this, what is the shelf life you can predict by storing them for varying periods of time at higher temperatures than those are normally encountered. Okay, so we have already heard in school, in our schooling, we have heard of the Arrhenius equation. So this Arrhenius equation states that a 10 degrees increase in temperature will double the rate of most chemical reaction. So we have just heard this statement, but it is not applicable to emulsions. Okay, so this Arrhenius equation, it is based on the concept that the same chemical reactions takes place at all temperatures at different rates, but in case of emulsions, changes in temperature bring into play new reactions. Okay, but in case of temperature, your emulsions, your Arrhenius equation is not applicable, because here the changes in temperature brings new reactions. It is not doubling the rate of reaction, but it is bringing new reaction. Okay, it's established that many emulsions may be perfectly stable at 40 to 45 degrees centigrade. Okay, so it is established that many emulsions may be perfectly stable at 40 to 45 degrees centigrade, but they cannot tolerate temperatures in excess of 55 or 60 degrees centigrade even for a few hours. So this fact we already know, that the emulsions are stable at 40 to 45 degrees, but they cannot tolerate temperatures in excess of 55 or 60 degrees centigrade. A useful means of evaluating the shelf life is cycling between two temperatures. So this we know that we will keep them at cool temperature and hot temperature, and then you will see in both of these conditions how much stable your emulsion is and till how long period of time it will be stable. So you are doing the cycling between one hot temperature and one cool temperature, and in this also, when you are doing with this evaluation of shelf life, extremes should be avoided, and cycling should be conducted between 4 degrees and 45 degrees centigrade. Okay, So I've told you recycling between two temperature is done, but here also when you are doing, you should take care that extreme temperature should be avoided and cycling should be conducted between 4 degrees centigrade and 45 degrees centigrade. So this type of cycling approaches realistic shelf conditions. Whenever you are using this kind of temperature, this type of cycling approaches realistic shelf conditions but places the emulsions under enough stress to alter various emulsion parameters. So stress conditions means what? You are placing the emulsion under stress, and whenever a person is in stress, how he reacts, that we know. So how emulsion reacts when you place it under stress, so that there are also various emulsion parameters will be altered, so that you are measuring or that you are evaluating. Okay, the normal effect of aging on emulsion at elevated temperature is acceleration of rate of coalescence and creaming. So we know when the normal effect of aging at elevated temperature. So at elevated temperature, what will happen? The rate of coalescence of particles or the rate of creaming will increase, and this is also coupled with your changes in viscosity. Right, you know, emulsions will become thin at high temperatures because when you are heating them, so they will become thin. Right, most emulsions become thin at elevated temperature and they thicken when allowed to come to room temperature. Okay, so the normal effect of aging on emulsion at elevated temperature is acceleration of the rate of coalescence or creaming, and this is usually coupled with the changes in viscosity. Most emulsions become thin at elevated temperatures and thicken when allowed to come to room temperature. This thickening can be excessive if the emulsion is not agitated during the cooling cycle. So there is a cooling cycle. If during the cooling cycle, if you do not agitate the emulsion, the thickening can be excessive, the thickening of the emulsion at room temp, that is cool temperature, because sometimes the low viscosity can be frozen into the emulsion if it is chilled rapidly. So if you are chilling it rapidly, sometimes what will happen, the viscosity can be frozen. That means the emulsion, you are suddenly you are keeping at high temperature and suddenly you are keeping at low temperature. So what will happen is, due to that, low viscosity can be frozen into the emulsion. So in view of all these variations, the formulator must evaluate each emulsion separately on the basis of his own experience. So on each emulsion it behaves separately, but a general phenomenon is this: at high temperature, creaming increases and the viscosity changes. So your formulator should evaluate based on his personal experience. Okay, and freezing can damage an emulsion more than heating, because your emulsifying agent is more sensitive to freezing than to high temperature. So freezing can damage an emulsion more than heating, since the solubility of emulsifier, nothing but emulsifying agent, both in lipid and aqueous phase, is more sensitive to freezing than to modest warming. Okay. In addition, the formation of ice crystals. So when you are storing at low temperatures, the formation of ice crystals, it will develop pressure that can deform the spherical shape of emulsion droplet. So under pressure, the particle shape can be changed, so that emulsion is under stress, under pressure. So in addition, your freezing can damage an emulsion more than your modest temperature. Okay, this is with our aging and temperature. Next class we'll discuss about centrifugation, agitation, and what are the practical recommendations. How do you assess about all these three stress conditions. Okay, prepare the notes from the video as well as from the Lachman. Everything is from Lachman, and in case of any doubts, you can ping me anytime. Thank you.